Hello, my name is Terry Saka. Welcome to the Wealth Transfer. We are wrapping up. This is the last show of this series, talking about the trade agreements, the East dominance over the West, and the takedown of the dollar through that BRICS, using the petrodollar to take it down. And today we're going to show you, last week we showed you how the West and the U.S. is going to handle it. Today we're going to show you how the East is going to handle it and what they have, and it's a lot better than bombs and military. So stay tuned, and we are talking about biblical principles and global economics, and I'm along with Dr. Charles Vance. Charles, how are you today?
Good, Terry. Good to see you today. Appreciate being on the program with you. I'm excited about this stuff that's coming up. I believe that it's going to open some people's minds to an understanding that's a little deeper.
Yes.
We get such a shaded view of things that are actually going on in the world from our news people that we need to do a little research ourselves, make sure that what we're hearing is accurate. Well,
we need to go from good sources. So obviously a program like this is a really good source. We're going to give you straight information economically. A program like TrueNews.com has radio programs, so if you want to listen on radio, you can always download, listen on iPads, type stuff. That will give you straight up information. There are other sources out there too. We need to get away from, just like what you said, away from the Western media. They're not telling us the truth.
Most of them are owned and operated by the people that...
Corporate conglomerate, the CIA
have money.
Probably, right, right.
And it's unfortunate that it seems like all of that stuff is controlled by an elite group.
Yeah.
And they're going to tell us what they want us to hear.
Yeah, it's really safe to say that, the difference between the elites and the non-elites is really dramatically changing. We have an administration that came in that was supposed to make change. I don't think people realize it was Marxist to socialist type of change, but if it really was going to be changed, why are the elites more elite and the non-elites poorer and more non-elite? So not very good change, was it?
Not to
I
me.
think it was almost the most pathetic act of change I've ever seen. Congratulations, America, for voting that way. But I didn't. So
me either.
We're not even close. I'm one of those unfortunate, well-trained ex-U.S. Army guys who were trained to kill communists, and then we go and elect them in this country. It amazes me, but I don't even care about the fight anymore. You know what? Sit back and barbecue with the family, because we have let this nation down. We were deceived by voting in somebody we thought. It's not just the person, mind you. It's everyone around the person.
It's a mindset.
The fact is, it's not even a debate. The fact is, everybody around this administration not everybody, but the majority, are proven communists, or their parents were communist people. Right down to the ambassador of the United Nations for us is married to a very serious communist person. These are heavy-duty activist, communist, socialist leaning background families. Now, why that's important is because, it's a difference of philosophy, and I'm okay with that. I actually, respect people for a different philosophy.
Our country certainly wasn't based on those ideas.
And the reason I don't like it is because communist socialists come across like they're trying to help you. But what they're really going to do is destroy your God, tell you how to think, tell you how to behave, and you become a slave. And if we don't think that's true, we're becoming what we're trying to stop from happening. And here we've got China, the world's communists, somehow elevated in a way where they're going to have a world dominance. And I don't quite get that picture, but wait till you see today how I'm going to outline how the East is going to do the takedown. Remember, we showed last week how the U.S. is going to use military to intimidate. I don't think this is military anymore. I mean, we could go to World War, I suppose, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think this world's all electronic, and this world has debt we didn't have. In World War II, remember, we had riches. We didn't have debt. We are so indebted today as a nation. We have more debt in the United States than any country any time in the history of the world. Now, we the people, we think, it's debt, it's debt. There's reckoning to this.
You live good for a while, but at some point you got to pay the debt back.
Can you imagine if each of us, Charles, could just have an unlimited credit card?
It would be crazy. You could live good until somebody demanded that you pay.
Yeah, somehow there has to be a balance.
Certainly.
And what happened is we have overstayed our welcome on the other side of the plank. And what's coming now, we've showed you, is 2/3 of the world is going against the dollar. They're attacking the dollar. Now, we're not going down lightly. America is going to stand. You know, we're going to intimidate financially. We're going to intimidate militarily. But I have a feeling they're organizing so well that when this really hits, they're prepared to take the reins. And that's the key. Now, let me ask this. This is a good way to start it. We are dominant, right, America? We're supposed to be the leaders of the world. We're respected, renowned. America, thank you, right? Look at this image in the Asian summit. This is going to be amazing. I don't think any time in my lifetime have I ever seen such a disrespect to an American president. Look at this image. It's number 18. This is at the Asia Pacific Economic Summit. This is something else. Wait till you see this, Charles. It's so embarrassing. That's the Asian Pacific Economic Summit. Now, I don't really, I'm not into the ladies thing. I get that. But in the middle is Russia's Putin. The middle that's the Chinese president. He's hosting it. His guest of honor, is Putin, the Russian. Look at where the United States president is. Way over on the right with the wives. Really? Are you serious? An American president is in the wives club. Wow, for disrespect. Soak that image up. If you don't believe what I'm telling you, do you think they respect us? Really? We have a president who bowed to these people, who bowed to the Arabs in the Middle East, who bows to people, apologizes to them. And now look where he is, in the Weiss Club. Unfortunately, it's a philosophy. I get it. I understand the tactic. I guess, he's a leader. You can choose it. I really don't know if that's a good idea. I think that's a pacifist approach with really bad guidance, especially if it's guided by a communist, Saul Alinsky. And the reason I'm saying this, and I'm not political because I think they're both bad. But, one of the leading contenders for the race right now, the female, let's just say, ex-president's wife, wrote a thesis paper in college with Saul Alinsky. Well, who is Saul Alinsky at the end of the day? Rules for Radicals. Do your research. Do you know he gave all the credit for Rules for Radicals? And everyone on that side of the political spectrum believe in Saul Alinsky. Who is Saul Alinsky? All I know is I don't care about politics because I really don't like any of them. Because I really believe in God only and Jesus Christ only. But who is Saul Alinsky? This is a man who go look at the Rules for Radicals. He gave the accolades and all of the praise to his book to Lucifer. Need we say more? We're murdering babies, pulling them out of the wound and chopping them up. Lucifer? Need we say more? Christian America, shame on you if you vote that way, knowing that kind of destruction upon the innocents. Knowing you're siding with Lucifer. Be careful. None of them are really any good. But I think I'd rather not be in Lucifer's camp. Because wait till you see how we're going to be taken down. That is the most embarrassing photo I've ever seen of an American president. Meaning we lost our leadership. Meaning we're not the same. Now it's a strategy, and if it worked, I would have been like, hey, cool, personally. But not only did it not work, it has destroyed our leadership ability in the world. And this is why the challenge of the East and the East has organized under these last 6-7 years. Unfortunately, they took it down. The dollar is in the crosshairs, and this is all what it's about at the end of the day. And what's the consequence to all of this? everything you worked hard for, your standard of living, your IRAs, 401ks, your money in the bank, churches, savings, the ability to have ministry, the ability to feed the poor, the ability to spread the gospel, the ability to keep truth front and center. Truth shall set you free. Not good is bad, bad is good now, but real truth. The belief system isn't compromisable. The Bible is it. So you better get prepared and start by getting educated. Here's a good way to do it.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you with cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call or register now.
Okay, so let's show you how the East is planning to attack this concept of the dollar. We showed you buy the petrodollar, but how could they at any moment, if we really wanted to? See, there's a lot of brinksmanship here. Because we're saying this, they're saying that, we're trying to do this, we're putting military here, we're intimidating this, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's all brinksmanship. What could they do at any moment? If we really, really pushed the button, we could lose that fast. And here's how. Let's show you number 19. Who holds all of our debt? China, Japan. Oh, and by the way, Belgium is fairly new. That $335 million in Belgium is the stuff that the Chinese and the Russians have been selling.
Billions.
Billions. Those are billions.
Okay.
And China and Japan are trillion. Belgium doesn't have that kind of money. Belgium is euro currency dollars being printed out of thin air to buy the American bonds that are being sold in the market that no one else wants to buy. It's very, very important to understand that. Caribbean islands. Boy, are they getting hosed. And then you go down the list. So there's our debt holders. There's who really controls the United States as far as from debt point of view. Major foreign holders of our Treasury securities. You can take that off. This is really important to understand. Our Federal Reserve was buying a lot of our treasuries because nobody's buying them anymore. They stopped doing that when they stopped doing QE. Which they're going to do again.
No, the Federal Reserve was printing money. That's the Q, the quantitative easing, which means that they were just printing more money, and they didn't have anything to back it with.
Right.
So they're just printing more money and buying treasury bonds from the government. Most people that I talk to do not know that the government doesn't print currency or they don't operate the currency system. The federal banking system, which is kind of deceptive in the word federal.
Yes.
So they're printing more money at the okay of the federal government.
Yes.
Giving the money to the government for treasury bonds.
Right.
Now some other countries, you said, are doing the same thing. They're just printing their money and buying treasury bonds with it.
The Europeans, because the Europeans are in the West. If you notice on that whole TPP and this whole thing, Europe is in America and the rest of the world's over there. So the Europeans are printing money out of thin air, and that's where the Belgium one comes in, to buy our bonds that nobody's buying. Sooner or later, that's going to blow up. And what nobody's talking about is if that bond market blows up, that's just the beginning of the derivative mess.
Isn't that bond supposed to be redeemable?
It's an IOU, yes.
Right.
Well, so if someone sells a bond that they hold into the market, someone has to buy that bond, or else the government has to pay it up.
At some point, isn't that bond have a maturity date on it where the government is supposed to actually pay the people back for the bond and take the bond back?
That's right.
Does that ever happen? Because all they're doing is going more and more in debt.
They were buying back the short-term bonds and reissuing longer-term bonds.
Oh, okay.
Kicking the can down the road.
Gotcha.
So that's who owns our debt. Now, if China owns that much debt, all they have to do is dump it. Game's over. They go into the market, they dump $1 trillion, this whole thing collapses, right? Well, they're smarter than that, so they're not just dumping debt in the market all at once. What are they doing? A little bit at a time. Check this out. Go to number 20. What's happening there is that's all easy money that you see there through 2013. Then we have these major sell-offs. People's Bank of China, the Swiss National Bank. What goes on there? Let me explain this. We're printing money in the green line on the left. Everybody's printing money. Everybody's happy. Everyone's kind of got their exchanges. The Swiss government's pegging their currency to the euros. In the middle there, the SNB is Swiss National Bank. They came out of nowhere and shocked the world and said we're no longer pegging to the euro, and the currency collapsed on that. But they did it on purpose.
Whose currency collapsed?
The Swiss's. That's what you see right there.
Okay.
Now look at what the POC is, the People Bank of China. They just came out a few weeks ago and lowered their currency and shocked the world. That's what started the stock market crash we had a little ways back. So you can take that off.
How do they go about lowering the value of their currency?
They sell reserves. They sell more currency into the market. They either print it, or they change how they peg the currency, meaning China gets their value by weighing it against the dollar. If they say we're no longer going to be weighed against the dollar, it changes their value. The only reason someone has a value is because it's measured to somebody else. Against someone else. When the Swiss did that, that was huge. Nobody saw that coming. But the Swiss they were losing in the export war. They said, forget this, and they shocked the world. There were companies thrown out of business, billion-dollar Forex exchange companies, because of what happened with the Swiss. And now China did it. Now, what does this mean? How does this impact us, Charles? When these countries are doing this to their currencies and lowering them, it basically is unwinding all of our quantitative easing, this QE, this money printing that the U.S. is doing. It's unwinding it. So we printed, I think, at one point on QE3, maybe 800 billion, maybe $1 trillion. So we print $1 trillion to stabilize the dollar and the economy. Well, the China lowering their currency literally unwound hundreds of billions of that impact. So now we print $1 trillion, it was almost like we printed 400 billion because it harms the dollar's ability to transact trade. It's all about trade. I know this sounds really complicated. It does, I understand. But I do want to illustrate it because this is the core of the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Not that you almost have to understand it, but if in your spirit you understand what we're giving you is to be true, which it is, then you better get prepared. Meaning have emergency food and water, have your assets properly protected and positioned. Because those treasuries are the key to the Chinese, the BRICS, and the Eastern's version of war. They can lower their currencies, dump our treasuries, and the entire economic market system collapses. Now, they're not going to do that, mind you, because then they're going to be in trouble too. But they're doing it incrementally. The Swiss did it. The Chinese did it. Now all these other countries are under pressure. Why? It's all about trade. If my currency is more expensive than yours, your goods are better to buy because they're cheaper, right? So we bought from China originally because their currency was cheap. So we could go to Walmart and get a bike for $100. Well, if that changes, the bike would cost us a lot more money. So the whole world is about currency and trade, the ability to trade. Who has the cheapest currency will sell more goods. The most expensive currency, who wants to buy them? It's too expensive. We have the expensive one. It's the burden of the reserve. Our retirement and our ability to have a standard of living in the future is going to be so compromised because our currency is so strong, fake, mind you, smoke and mirror strong. It's only strong because what gives it its value is the euro and the yen and a few others. But the euro and the yen, the Japanese and the European Union area, are collapsing, negative interest rates. And they're so bad off that it made our dollar look strong. our dollar is going to lose so much buying power and so much value in the future. Your retirement and our ability to have a standard of living is going to be severely, severely hurt. Get educated and get started. Here's a good way to do it.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you with cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call or register now.
Now, we've gone through all this money printing and all this cycle. Now, we had the Shemitah, and, we had these Shemitah cycles. We know what happens if it crashes and things are going on cyclically financially. And so I do want to show you what's going on. Now, this was, pre-Shemitah, so this is kind of it now. Things are a little different today. But what I want to show you is this is the cycle we've been in for the last 3 cycles economically, our stock market. Why it's important is because these are the indicators why the East is finally putting the nail in the coffin of the dollar. Because we are so in debt and so financially broke, kind of, in the sense that, we're not who we used to be. And our markets are getting really old and tired to an extent. And look at this next one. These were the Shemitah cycles, but look at where we're at on the weeks of these things. This is why we know there's corrections in here. And this, I'm sorry, that was image 21. The first one in 2000 was 66-month bull run. And bull run meaning the stock market going up. Then a big collapse, the Shemitah. The next one was 55 months. And then the Shemitah in 2008 collapse. The one we've been on right now, 77 months running stock market bull run. 77 months. I don't know about any of you, but I don't have the confidence that, as you see there in the pattern, that we're obviously, in a position where here we go. That's 25 years right there. And you don't think there's patterns. That's why we know we're in a reckoning period. Well, so you can take that off.
There has to be a correction in this because these are inflated fake prices.
Yes, because money printing was done by our Fed, our Reserve. The money printing became zero interest rates too, mind you. Now, we have zero interest rates out there for banks and money people. Then what they did is they go and leverage the money in the stock market. So that stock market went up because they were leveraging money in it. But it's all fake, smoke and mirror fake. Some companies were doing good, mind you, but most companies were laying people off still. Unemployment's staggering high. The number you see in unemployment's a lie. And so when you really see everything, you realize, wow, this is why it's epic. So this crash this time is it's not good in this manner. We've already run out of ammunition. We've printed trillions, zero interest rates forever. What else can we do?
Is at some point, is there going to be, and I know all this stuff is connected together globally, the currency systems, because all of the currency systems are fiat now. They're fake currency systems. Is there going to be at some point an effort to equalize the currency systems, do you believe?
Yes. I think the goal, when the big collapse happens, which I think is upon us, and it's going to continue to get worse, so what it is today, I have a feeling it's going to get a lot worse. I think the ultimate outcome of this will be an equalization, what I would call a currency reset, where across the board globally, this gets reset. Now, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people in that.
I would think.
So why are we not who we are or who we used to be? Number 22, our image. The Western liabilities in debt is why. Look at those gray areas. The red areas are what the government are telling you their liabilities are. The gray areas are the total government liabilities, the real ones. Look at the United States at the right. I mean, we are just so in trouble. Those countries are what you see. What is France going to do? Right? So the red is what they're trying to tell you, but the gray is what really is happening. Look at the percentage on the left. The U.S. will print away their excess liabilities. Germany has huge overseas assets, but what is France going to do about it? You can take that off. The reason I'm saying all this is the East knows that picture. All we have left are our jets, planes, and bombs. Our credibility is out the door. Are we protected? Are we prepared? This was a great series. Please review it if you haven't. Pass it on to your friends, because what we're talking about now is really, really important to understand. This isn't a short-term thing. This is a shift. East to west cycle, 500 years it goes back, all the way to Genesis, and it's coming. And last lot, let's leave this. I believe the outcome, if we don't change our way, which I think it may be too late, this last image 23 is the outcome. You can take that off.
But we can change as individuals.
What we can do is change the individuals. We can prepare as individuals.
Yeah, that's the key.
We can have food. We can have water. We can get our assets right. And when that storm comes, God and Jesus Christ will guide us through the very narrow hole of light in that storm. He will get behind Him and He'll walk us right through it. So put your faith in the right place. Get ready. And know that in Him all things are possible.
Join us next week, same place, same time, right here for the Wealth Transfer. See you then.
Cornerstone Asset Metals has focused on using gold and silver reserves to protect your assets from volatile currencies. Another hard asset that is just as important for your sustainability is food. We believe that preparation is a key to being successful in an unstable economic environment, so we started Cam Ready Food just for you. The Bible tells us that Joseph used the resources of Egypt to prepare for a global famine by storing up food in a time of plenty. His preparation not only preserved the lives of his family, but many others as well. At Cornerstone, we believe the time is now to re-examine this biblical lesson so that you and your family can be prepared for any disaster, job loss, food shortage, or economic instability. You can start preparing today by visiting our website, camreadyfood.com, because food truly is the ultimate currency. Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you with cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call or register now.
Today we're going to show you, last week we showed you how the West in the U.S. is going to handle it. Today we're going to show you how the East is going to handle it and what they have, and it's a lot better than bombs and military. So stay tuned, and we are talking about biblical principles and global economics, and I'm along with Dr. Charles Vance. Charles, how are you today?
Good, Terry. Good to see you today. Appreciate being on the program with you. I'm excited about this stuff that's coming up. I believe that it's going to open some people's minds to an understanding that's a little deeper.
Yes.
We get such a shaded view of things that are actually going on in the world from our news people that we need to do a little research ourselves, make sure that what we're hearing is accurate.
Well, we need to go from good sources, and the non-elites is really dramatically changing. You know, we have an administration that came in that was supposed to make change. I don't think people realize it was Marxist to socialist type of change. But, you know, if it really was going to be changed, why are the elites more elite and the non-elites poorer and more non-elite? So not very good change, was it?
Not to
I
me.
think it was almost the most pathetic act of change I've ever seen. Congratulations, America, for voting that way. But I didn't. So
me either.
Not even close. I'm one of those unfortunate, well-trained ex-U.S. Army guys who were trained to kill communists. Hello, my name is Terry Saka. Welcome to the Wealth Transfer. We are wrapping up. This is the last show of this series, talking about the trade agreements, the East dominance over the West, and the takedown of the dollar through that BRICS, using the petrodollar to take it down. And so obviously a program like this is a really good source. We're going to give you straight information economically. You know, a program like TrueNews.com has radio programs, so if you want to listen on radio, you can always download, listen on iPads, type stuff. That will give you straight up information. There are other sources out there too. We need to get away from, just like what you said, away from the Western media. They're not telling us the truth.
Most of them are owned and operated by the people that,
conglomerate, the CIA,
have money.
Probably, right? Yeah. Yep, right.
And it's unfortunate that it seems like all of that stuff is controlled by an elite group.
Yeah.
And they're going to tell us what they want us to hear.
Yeah, it's really safe to say that, you know, the difference between the elites and then we go and elect them in this country, it amazes me, but I don't even care about the fight anymore. You know what? Sit back and barbecue with the family, because we have let this nation down. We were deceived by voting in somebody we thought. And it's not just the person, mind you. It's everyone around the person.
It's a mindset.
The fact is, it's not even a debate. The fact is, everybody around this administration not everybody, but the majority, are proven communists, or their parents were communist people. Right down to the ambassador of the United Nations for us is married to a very serious communist person. These are